Before we begin, please remember that the information shared in this presentation is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional financial, legal, or mental health advice. We encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific circumstances. It's 10:47 p.m. on a Wednesday. Your eyes are burning from the blue light of your laptop screen. Your dinner, a lukewarm burrito you barely remember eating, sits half-finished on the corner of your desk. There's a dull ache behind your temples that's become so familiar, you barely even notice it anymore. You scroll through your feed for a second, a brief escape, and see a post from some influencer. It's a picture of a sunrise with a caption, "You have the same 24 hours in a day as Beyoncé. Rise and grind." You let out a sigh that's more exhaustion than emotion, and you get back to that one last email, that one last slide, that one last piece of code. You tell yourself this is what it takes. This is the sacrifice. This is the cost of success in America. But what if I told you it's a lie? What if I told you that this entire rise and grind mentality, this culture of sleepless nights and relentless work, isn't the path to success, but a carefully constructed trap designed to break you? What if the very thing you believe is building your future is actually stealing your life, one exhausted hour at a time? This isn't just another video telling you to work smarter, not harder, or to try a new productivity app. This is a deep dive into the psychological prison we call hustle culture. We are going to expose it for what it is, the most pervasive and damaging mindset in modern America. And over the next 10 parts, we are going to give you the exact actionable blueprint to break free. We're going to help you reclaim your time, your energy, your health, and your very definition of a successful life without giving up on your ambitions. In fact, you're about to discover how escaping the hustle is the only real way to achieve them. So, how did we get here? How did we become a nation that glorifies burnout and wears exhaustion like a badge of honor? This isn't some new phenomenon that just popped up with Instagram. This is a virus that has been mutating in the American psyche for generations. It started with the Protestant work ethic, this deeply ingrained belief that hard work is a moral obligation, that idle hands are the devil's playthings. It was supercharged by the Industrial Revolution, which taught us to see human beings as cogs in a machine, measured only by their output. Then, in the late 20th century, it took on a new, more glamorous form with the rise of Wall Street's greed as good mantra and Silicon Valley's myth of the 20-year-old billionaire coded in a garage on a diet of ramen noodles and no sleep. Each generation passed down a more toxic version of the same story. Your value is your productivity. Your worth is your net worth. And rest? Rest is for the weak. Rest is for the people who don't want it bad enough. The result is a national crisis. We have the most vacation-averse, productivity-obsessed, and chronically stressed workforce in the entire developed world. Over half of American workers don't use all their paid time off. Think about that. We are literally paying our employers for the privilege of working more. We've been conditioned to feel guilty for taking a day off, for logging off at 5 p.m., for not checking our email the second we wake up. We see people on social media celebrating their 80-hour work weeks, their hashtag no days off, their sleep when you're dead lifestyle, and a small insidious voice in our head whispers, maybe I'm not doing enough. This is the central lie of hustle culture, that more input always equals more output, that more hours worked, more emails sent, more tasks checked off a list will inevitably lead to more success, more money, and more happiness. But the data, the science, and the lived experiences of millions of burnt-out Americans tell a completely different story. Look at the evidence. The Great Resignation. The rise of quiet quitting. These aren't just buzzwords. They are screams for help from a workforce at its breaking point. People aren't lazy, they're exhausted. They're not unmotivated, they're disillusioned. They played the game, they followed the rules, they hustled harder than anyone could have asked, and they looked up 10 years later to find themselves with a little more money, maybe a fancier job title, but with their health in shambles, their relationships strained, and a profound sense of emptiness. They realized the prize they were chasing wasn't worth the price they were paying. The hustle culture mindset is a rigged game. It operates on a principle of diminishing returns. Your first 40 hours of focused work in a week are incredibly productive, but the 41st hour? It's a little less effective. The 50th hour? Significantly less. By the time you're hitting 60 or 70 hours, you're not a hero, you're a liability. Your creativity plummets. Your problem-solving skills wither. You make more mistakes, which creates more work to fix those mistakes, trapping you in a vicious cycle of inefficient, soul-crushing busyness. You're not working hard, you're just there. You're performing work, not producing it. And this performance is a key part of the trap. Hustle culture isn't just about working. It's about being seen working. It's about being the first one in the office and the last one to leave. It's about sending emails at 11 p.m. to prove your commitment. It's a theater of productivity where the appearance of effort has become more important than the actual results. We're all actors in a play we never auditioned for, and we're all getting tired of the role. This system benefits from your burnout. It convinces you that your exhaustion is a personal failing, a lack of grit, rather than a systemic problem. It tells you that if you're not succeeding, it's because you're not hustling hard enough, so you double down, you push harder, you sacrifice more, digging yourself deeper into a hole of debt, stress, and poor health. It's a conveyor belt that takes bright, ambitious, passionate people and turns them into tired, anxious, and cynical shells of their former selves. But here is the good news. You can get off the conveyor belt. You can stop playing the game. Breaking free doesn't mean becoming lazy or unambitious. It doesn't mean giving up on your goals. It means getting strategic. It means being intentional. It means understanding that the most powerful, successful, and fulfilled people in the world don't hustle harder. They rest smarter. They understand that recovery isn't the opposite of work. It's a vital part of work. They treat rest not as a luxury but as a discipline. What if the most strategic career move you could make this year wasn't to take on another project, but to schedule a real unplugged vacation? What if the key to that breakthrough idea you've been searching for isn't found in another all-nighter, but in a 10-minute walk outside with your phone left behind? What if the secret to achieving more is to intentionally do less? That's not just a nice thought. It's a neurological and biological fact. And it's the first secret to escaping the trap. Let's talk about a chemical that is hijacking your brain. It's a hormone your body produces naturally. In small, controlled bursts, it's a lifesaver. It sharpens your focus, floods your body with energy, and prepares you to face an immediate life-threatening danger. Its name is cortisol. You might know it as the stress hormone. And in the 21st century American workplace, it's not a lifesaver. It's a slow, insidious poison. Our bodies evolved this system for a world of saber-toothed tigers and rival tribes. The threat appears, cortisol spikes, you either fight or you run, the threat is resolved, and your cortisol levels return to normal. Simple. Effective. The problem is, your brain can't tell the difference between a tiger trying to eat you and a Slack notification from your boss at 9 p.m. with the subject line, urgent. It can't distinguish between a real-life predator and the perceived threat of a looming deadline, a tough performance review, or even just the endless scrolling feed of other people's curated success on social media. So what happens? The tiger never leaves. The threat is constant. The Slack messages keep coming. The emails pile up. The pressure to perform, to optimize, to be on 24/7 never subsides. And so, your cortisol levels never go back to normal. You live in a state of chronic, low-grade fight or flight. This isn't just making you feel anxious. It's literally damaging your brain. Chronically high cortisol impairs memory, shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus and decision-making, and it actively blocks creativity. You are, quite literally, too stressed to have a good idea. And this is where the lie of hustle culture completely falls apart. The very thing it promises, peak performance, breakthrough ideas, massive success, is made biologically impossible by the very methods it preaches. The grind isn't sharpening you. It's dulling you. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom by pouring water in faster. You're just getting wetter and the bucket is still empty. But what happens when you stop pouring? What happens in those moments of intentional less? This brings us to one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern neuroscience. The default mode network, the DMN. Think of it as your brain's screensaver. It's what activates when you are not focused on a specific, goal-oriented task. It's the network that lights up when you're mind-wandering, daydreaming, or taking that 10-minute walk with your phone left behind. For decades, scientists thought this was just the brain being idle. They were wrong. Terribly wrong. The default mode network is where the magic happens. It's your brain's creative engine, its internal problem solver. While your conscious mind is taking a break, the DMN is hard at work, sifting through your memories, connecting disparate ideas, and running simulations of the future. It's what generates those aha moments, those sudden flashes of insight that seem to come from nowhere when you're in the shower or driving on a familiar road. They don't come from nowhere. They come from the DMN, the part of your brain you have been systematically starving with constant hustle. Let me tell you about a guy named David. David was the epitome of the hustle mindset. He was a senior project manager at a tech firm and he was stuck. His team was tasked with developing a new user onboarding process for their app, and they had hit a wall. For 3 weeks, they'd been in back-to-back meetings, brainstorming sessions, and late-night coding sprints. They'd filled whiteboards with flowcharts and sticky notes. David was fueled by caffeine and the belief that if he just worked harder, the solution would appear. He was checking emails before his feet hit the floor in the morning and was the last one to log off at night. But the answer wasn't coming. The more he pushed, the more frustrated and blocked he became. He was pouring water into that bucket as fast as he could. One Tuesday afternoon, his daughter's school called. The nurse. His daughter had a fever and needed to be picked up immediately. David's heart sank. He felt a surge of panic and annoyance. This was a catastrophic interruption. He had a critical deadline, but he had no choice. He apologized to his team, shut his laptop, and drove to the school. For the first time in weeks, he wasn't in a meeting, wasn't on his phone, wasn't listening to a business podcast. He was just driving. He picked up his daughter, who was sleepy and quiet, got her settled on the couch at home with a blanket and some cartoons, and then he went into the kitchen to make her some soup. He wasn't thinking about user flows or friction points. He was chopping carrots. He was watching the steam rise from the pot. His mind, for the first time all month, was empty of the problem. And then as he stirred the soup, it hit him. A bolt of lightning. The solution. It wasn't a complex flowchart. It was a simple, elegant idea based on something his daughter had said weeks ago, about how she learned a new video game. It was about turning the onboarding from a list of instructions into a quest, a game. He saw the entire process flash in his mind, clear as day. It was brilliant. It was the breakthrough he'd been killing himself to find. David's aha moment wasn't a miracle. It was neuroscience. By being forced to abandon the hustle, to engage in a simple non-cognitive task like making soup, he finally gave his brain the space it needed to shut down the overworked, cortisol-drenched executive network and fire up the default mode network. The DMN took the problem, accessed a distant memory about his daughter's video game, connected it to the user onboarding data, and served up the perfect solution. The 30 minutes he spent making soup were more productive than the previous 3 weeks of relentless grinding. This is the secret. The power of doing less. It's not about being lazy. It's about being strategic. It's about understanding that your brain has 2 gears. A focused, task-oriented gear, and a creative, connection-making gear. Hustle culture tells you to stay in first gear and just press the accelerator harder, even as the engine is screaming and smoking. But real progress, real breakthroughs happen when you learn how to shift gears. So I have a challenge for you. A question. When was the last time you were truly bored? Not scrolling on your phone bored, but genuinely technologically naked stare out the window bored? For most of us, the answer is we can't remember. We've been conditioned to see boredom as a personal failure. A void that must be immediately filled with a podcast, an article, an email, a task. We treat empty moments like enemies to be vanquished. I want you to start treating boredom as an opportunity, a sacred space. It is the fertile soil where your best ideas are waiting to grow. Your challenge is to schedule boredom into your day. I'm not talking about an hour. Start with 15 minutes. Call it a DMN meeting in your calendar if you have to. During this time, you are not allowed to consume or produce. No phones, no computers, no books, no podcasts. You can go for a walk. You can sit on a bench. You can stare at the clouds. You can doodle aimlessly on a piece of paper. Your only goal is to let your mind wander wherever it wants to go. At first, it will feel deeply uncomfortable. Your brain, addicted to the constant dopamine hit of new information and task completion, will scream at you. It will feel unproductive. It will feel like a waste of time. But stick with it, because on the other side of that discomfort is where your brain starts to defragment. It's where you'll find clarity. It's where you'll solve the problems that have been plaguing you. You'll be shifting gears. You'll be letting your subconscious do the heavy lifting. But I can already hear the objection. That's great, but my reality won't allow it. My boss expects instant replies. My corporate culture rewards busyness. The entire system is built to punish anyone who isn't constantly on and available. You're right. We've talked about the prison in your mind, the neurological trap of cortisol. But what about the prison that's been built around you? The one made of open-plan offices designed for constant interruption, the digital leash of our smartphones, and a work culture that fundamentally mistakes presence for performance. Escaping the mindset is the first step. But to be truly free, you have to learn how to dismantle the cage. And in the next part, we're going to show you exactly how to find the keys. So where are these keys? You might be picturing a complex set of tools, a secret 10-step plan, or some life hack you've never heard of. But the first key, the most important one, isn't something you find, something you realize. The key is the understanding that the cage isn't just built around you. A huge part of it is built inside you. The bars are forged from guilt, from the fear of being seen as lazy, from the deep-seated belief that your worth is directly tied to your output. Think about it. Why do you feel a pang of anxiety when you take a sick day, even when you're genuinely ill? Why does an unproductive afternoon feel like a moral failure? That's the cage. It's a psychological prison, reinforced every time you see a post about a CEO who wakes up at 4 a.m. or a colleague who answers emails at midnight. The system thrives on you policing yourself. So the first key isn't a tool to break the bars. It's the permission you give yourself to stop reinforcing them. It's the conscious decision to say, my value as a human being is not determined by my position on a productivity chart. Once you've grasped that, you can find the second key. And this one is about conducting a brutal, honest audit of your life. Not your finances, your energy, your time. For 1 week, I want you to become a detective in your own life. Get a notebook or open a doc and track where every hour goes. But more importantly, track how you feel. When you're scrolling on your phone after a long day, are you relaxing? Or are you numbing? When you're in that third Zoom meeting of the morning, are you engaged? Or are you just present? When you say yes to that extra project, is it because you're passionate, or because you're afraid of what happens if you say no? Be ruthlessly honest. At the end of that week, you'll have a map. Not a map of your schedule, but a map of your soul. You'll see the energy vampires. You'll see the black holes of time that give you nothing in return. For many people, the biggest revelation from this audit is that the majority of their hustle isn't productive work. It's performative work. It's answering emails immediately to look responsive. It's staying late to look dedicated. It's joining meetings you don't need to be in to look like a team player. You're not working, you're acting. You're playing the part of the ideal ever-on employee. And it is exhausting you for zero real gain. This audit is the key that shows you the blueprint of your own personal cage. You see exactly where the bars are, where the weak spots are, and where the lock is. Now you're ready for the third key, and this one is a game changer. It's about completely redefining the word productivity. Hustle culture has sold us a fraudulent definition. It defines productivity as volume. More hours, more tasks, more emails, more meetings. It's a factory worker mindset applied to knowledge work, and it's fundamentally broken. True productivity isn't about the volume of your input. It's about the value of your output. Let me tell you a story about two software developers. Let's call them Alex and Ben. Alex is the hustle culture poster child. He's the first one in, last one out. His Slack status is always green. He works 12-hour days, fueled by coffee and the glow of his monitor. He churns out thousands of lines of code a week. He is, by all traditional metrics, incredibly productive. Then there's Ben. Ben works at most 6 focused hours a day. He takes a long lunch. He goes for a walk in the afternoon. He's offline by 5 p.m. every single day. He writes maybe a fifth of the code Alex does. But here's the thing. Ben's code is elegant, simple, and virtually bug-free. It solves the core problem with a fraction of the complexity. Alex's code, written in a state of perpetual exhaustion, is bloated and riddled with errors. For every hour Alex spends writing code, another developer spends 3 hours fixing it. Alex creates work. Ben creates solutions. Who is more productive? The hustle mindset worships Alex. It celebrates his sacrifice, his hours, his visible effort. But reality, and any good manager, knows that Ben is the one actually moving the company forward. The third key is embracing the Ben mindset. It's the realization that a single hour of deep, uninterrupted focus is worth more than a 12-hour day of distracted, fragmented busy work. It's about identifying the 20% of your efforts that generate 80% of your results, the famous Pareto principle, and being absolutely ruthless about protecting the time and energy to do that 20% work. This isn't about being lazy. It's about being a professional. It's about respecting your own craft enough to do it well, not just to do it a lot. It's shifting your goal from, how can I get more done? To, how can I create more impact with less effort? This leads us right to the fourth and final key for today. It's small, it's simple, and it's terrifying for most of us. It's the word no. In our culture, No is a dirty word. Saying no to your boss feels like insubordination. Saying no to a colleague feels unhelpful. Saying no to a social event feels like you're letting people down. We are conditioned to be people pleasers, to be accommodating, to be endlessly available. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you are implicitly saying no to something that does. Saying yes to that pointless meeting is saying no to an hour of focused work. Saying yes to that extra project you don't have time for is saying no to your family, your sleep, your sanity. Saying yes to working late is saying no to your hobbies, your health, your life. The key of no is not about being negative or uncooperative. It's about being strategic. It's about protecting your most valuable and finite resources. Your time, your energy, and your attention. Learning to say no is a skill. You can do it gracefully. You can say, I don't have the bandwidth to give that the attention it deserves right now. You can say, my priority is finishing X, but I can look at this next week. You can say, that's not in my area of expertise, but perhaps you could ask so-and-so. A strategic no doesn't close doors. It builds a fence around the things that are truly important, protecting them so they have room to grow. It's you taking control. It's you deciding what gets your energy. Each time you say a thoughtful no, you are casting a vote for the life you actually want to live, not the one you feel obligated to perform. So there they are. 4 keys. The realization that the cage is in your mind. The honest audit that maps its bars. The new definition of productivity that changes the goal of your work. And the power of a strategic no that protects your focus. You now have what you need to unlock the door. You can see the world outside the cage. But opening that door and taking the first step out, especially when the world is watching and your livelihood is on the line, that requires a different kind of courage. It requires a practical plan. You found the keys. In the next part, we're going to teach you how to turn them in the lock without setting off all the alarms. So let's talk about that lock. The one separating you from a life where your worth isn't measured in hours worked or emails answered after midnight. The plan to turn those keys isn't a single dramatic act of rebellion. It's not about writing a fiery resignation letter or throwing your laptop into a lake. That's the Hollywood version. The real version, the one that works, is quieter. It's more strategic. Think of it less like a prison break and more like a covert operation. Your first mission, should you choose to accept it, isn't to escape. It's to gather intelligence. For the next 7 days, you are going to become a spy in your own life. Your target is time, but more importantly, it's energy. You need to know where it's going. Not just where you think it's going, but where it's actually going. Get a small notebook, or use a simple notes app on your phone. For 1 week, you will log your life in 30-minute increments. This sounds tedious, I know. It sounds like the very kind of micromanagement we're trying to escape. But trust me, this is different. You're not doing this for a boss. You're doing this for you. You are debugging your own operating system. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, write down what you're doing. But here's the critical part, the piece of intelligence that changes everything. Next to each entry, you're not just going to write what you did, you're going to write down how it made you feel. Use a simple code. A plus sign for energizing. A minus sign for draining. A 0 for neutral. So your log might look something like this. 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Woke up. Immediately checked work email on phone. Minus. 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Showered, got ready. 0. 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Made coffee, sat in silence for 5 minutes before kids woke up. Plus. 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Weekly team synergy meeting. A huge soul-sucking minus. 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Wrote 2 paragraphs of the big report. Felt focused. Big plus. 9:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Answered just 1 more email from my boss. Minus. Be brutally honest. No one is going to see this but you. Did scrolling through your social media feed for 30 minutes actually make you feel rested? Or did it make you feel anxious and drained? That's a minus. Did that quick call with a colleague actually solve a problem and make you feel connected? Or did it just add 3 more things to your to-do list? Log it. The meeting that could have been an email. The performative productivity of sorting your inbox instead of doing the deep, meaningful work you know you need to do. Log it all. This isn't about judgment. It's about data. For 1 week, you are simply a scientist observing your own life. After 7 days, your intelligence gathering phase is complete. Now, you become an analyst. Lay out your notes and grab a highlighter. Your mission is to identify the patterns. You are looking for your energy vampires. These are the tasks, the habits, the people, the meetings that consistently day after day get a minus next to them. You will be shocked at what you find. It's often not the big, obvious projects that are killing you. It's the death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's the 15 minutes of dread before a certain phone call. It's the constant distraction of notifications. It's the hour you spend every day on something that provides zero value to you or your company, but has become an unquestioned part of the routine. Circle your top 3 energy vampires, the absolute worst offenders, the things that, when you look at them on paper, make you physically sigh. Maybe it's that daily 10 a.m. status update meeting that lasts 45 minutes, but could be summarized in a 2-sentence email. Maybe it's the expectation that you'll respond to non-urgent messages within 5 minutes. Maybe it's the habit of eating lunch at your desk while half working, ensuring you never actually get a break. Now you pick one. Just one. This is crucial. We are not setting off alarms. We are not trying to overhaul your entire life overnight. That's the hustle culture way. Go big or go home, transform yourself in 30 days. It's a recipe for burnout and failure. Instead, you are going to execute a small tactical strike. You are going to pick the smallest viable change. You look at your number 1 energy vampire. Let's say it's that 45-minute daily meeting, and you devise a plan to neutralize it without anyone barely noticing. You don't storm into your boss's office and declare that the meeting is a waste of time. That's a loud, messy alarm. Instead, the day before the next meeting, you spend 10 minutes writing a clear, concise bullet point summary of your updates and the status of your projects. You send it to your team at 9:45 a.m. with a simple subject line: updates for the 10 a.m. sync. In the email, you write something like, "Hey team, just wanted to get my updates to you ahead of the call to be efficient. Everything is on track. Let me know if you have any questions, otherwise I'll be using this time to focus on the Johnson proposal. See you tomorrow." What have you just done? You've fulfilled your obligation. You've demonstrated proactivity and efficiency. Words the hustle culture loves. But you have also quietly reclaimed 45 minutes of your life. You've turned one of the keys. The first time you do this, it will feel terrifying. Your heart will pound. You'll think, they're going to think I'm a slacker. They're going to be mad. But 99% of the time, you know what happens? Nothing. Someone might even reply, "Thanks, this is great," because you've just made their life a little easier too. Let's take another example. Is your vampire the constant barrage of notifications? Your covert mission isn't to announce you're going off the grid. It's to block out 2 90-minute chunks on your public calendar. Label them heads down Project Alpha or Strategic Planning Session. They look official. They look important. During those 90 minutes, you turn off your email. You put your phone in a drawer. You close all your messaging apps. You do the deep focus work that actually moves the needle. You're not being lazy. You are being ruthlessly effective. You are creating the conditions for excellence on your own terms. You are training people through your actions, not your words, that your time is valuable and your focus is not to be trifled with. This is the beginning. This is how you start turning the keys. You don't ask for permission. You conduct an audit, you identify a target, and you execute a small strategic change. You prove to yourself that it's possible. You get a small taste of freedom, a little hit of reclaimed energy. That one successful mission gives you the courage for the next one. Maybe next week, you decide you're going to take a full 30-minute lunch break, away from your desk. You put it on your calendar. You walk outside. You don't check your phone. Again, it feels risky. But when you come back, you're clearer, more focused, and you realize the world didn't fall apart in your absence. Each small action is a vote for a new way of living. It's a quiet protest against the tyranny of the urgent. You are building a fortress of sanity, brick by brick, right in the middle of the chaos. But as you do this, as you start to carve out these small pockets of autonomy and peace, you're going to run into the most sophisticated alarm system ever created. It's not your boss. It's not your colleagues. It's the voice inside your own head. It's the guilt that screams at you when you're not on. It's the fear that whispers you'll be left behind. It's the deep, ingrained conditioning that tells you your worth is tied to your exhaustion. That is the final lock. And disarming that internal alarm, that's the real fight. So let's begin that fight. Not with a battle cry, but with a quiet, deliberate act of rebellion. The first step in disarming any alarm system isn't to smash it with a hammer. It's to find the control panel and rewrite the code. The alarm inside you, the one that screams you're not doing enough, is running on a faulty operating system. an operating system programmed with a very specific and very limited dictionary of terms. To break free, we don't need to work harder. We need to become lexicographers of our own lives. We need to redefine the very words that have been used to trap us. Let's start with the big one, the cornerstone of the entire hustle empire: productivity. In the Hustle Dictionary, productivity is a simple, brutal equation: output divided by time. It's the number of tasks checked off a list, the number of emails sent, the number of lines of code written. It's a game of volume, a relentless pursuit of more. But this definition is a trap. It's a factory-era metric applied to the human spirit, and it's fundamentally broken. It's why you can have a productive 8-hour day, cross off 20 things from your to-do list, and collapse onto your couch feeling completely empty, no closer to your actual goals than when you started. You were busy, yes, but were you effective? True productivity isn't about the volume of your work. It's about the impact of your work. It's not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things. Imagine two software developers. The first one arrives at 8 a.m., fueled by caffeine and a sense of urgency. He immediately starts coding, hammering out thousands of lines, fixing bugs as they pop up, pushing through for 10 straight hours. His activity log is impressive. The second developer comes in, grabs a coffee, and for the first hour, does nothing but stare at a whiteboard. She maps out the architecture. She thinks through the potential problems. She simplifies the core logic. Then she codes for 3 hours. Cleanly, efficiently. At the end of the day, the first developer has written 3 times as much code, but it's a tangled mess that will require weeks of debugging. The second developer has created a lean, elegant solution that just works. Who was more productive? Hustle culture worships the first developer. It celebrates the visible effort, the long hours, the sheer grind. But real progress, the kind that actually moves the needle, comes from the second developer. Comes from strategic pausing. It comes from prioritizing clarity over activity. This is the essence of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. The idea that, in almost any area, 80% of your results will come from just 20% of your efforts. The hustle mindset tells you to optimize all 100% of your effort, to squeeze every last drop out of every single minute. The sustainable mindset tells you to first identify that critical 20%. What are the 2 or 3 tasks on your list of 20 that will actually create the most significant progress toward your most important goal? The rest is just noise. Redefining productivity means giving yourself permission to ignore the noise. It's shifting your goal from get more done to create the most impact with the least wasted energy. It is the art of the deliberate, the focused, and the effective. This leads us directly to the second word we must reclaim: rest. In the Hustle Dictionary, rest is a 4-letter word. It's a liability. It's the time when your competition is getting ahead of you. It's a necessary evil at best, a sign of weakness at worst. Even our attempts at rest are corrupted by this mindset. We optimize our sleep with tracking rings. We schedule power naps. We treat a vacation as a pit stop to refuel just enough to get back to the race. But this fundamentally misunderstands what rest is and why it's so critical. Rest is not the opposite of work. Rest is the partner of work. They are 2 sides of the same coin of high performance. No elite athlete would ever train for a marathon by running 26.2 miles every single day. That's a recipe for injury, burnout, and failure. The magic doesn't happen during the training. It happens during the recovery. It's in the moments of rest that the muscles repair and grow stronger. Your brain, your creativity, your problem-solving abilities work in exactly the same way. The moments of insight, the aha breakthroughs, almost never happen when you're staring intently at a spreadsheet at 11 p.m. They happen in the shower, on a walk in the woods, while you're playing with your dog. They happen when you create space, when you allow your subconscious mind to connect the dots in the background. We have to draw a hard line between true rest and simple escapism. Collapsing on the couch and scrolling through your phone for 3 hours is not rest. It's a low-grade distraction that often leaves you feeling more drained, more anxious, and more behind than when you started. It's like eating junk food when your body is craving nutrients. True restorative rest is an active process. It's intentionally choosing an activity that recharges your specific depleted batteries. If you've been doing focused, analytical work all day, active rest might be playing an instrument. If you've been in meetings dealing with people all day, it might be silent solitude. If you've been sitting in a chair all day, it's getting out into nature. Redefining rest means treating it not as a reward for hard work, but as an essential part of the work itself. It's a non-negotiable strategic tool for sustained excellence and a fulfilling life. And that brings us to the final, most important word we need to rip out of their dictionary and write for ourselves: success. For a generation, hustle culture has sold us a very specific and very narrow picture of success. It's a number in a bank account, a title on a business card, the square footage of a house, the logo on the hood of a car. It's external, it's material, and it's always just a little bit further down the road. It's a finish line that keeps moving. This definition is the fuel for the entire machine. It's what keeps us chasing, grinding, and sacrificing our well-being on the altar of making it. But I want you to run a thought experiment. Imagine you get it all. You achieve that exact picture of success. You have the money, the title, the recognition. But to get there, you sacrificed your health. Your relationships are strained or non-existent. You have no hobbies, no passions outside of work. You wake up every morning with a sense of anxiety and go to bed every night with a sense of exhaustion. You're standing at the top of the mountain you were told to climb, and all you feel is empty and alone. Is that success? We have been conditioned to chase a definition of success that was written by someone else, for someone else's benefit. The ultimate act of breaking free is to throw that definition away and write your own, your personal definition of success. Maybe success for you is having the time and energy to be truly present with your kids every night. Maybe it's the freedom to travel. Maybe it's mastering a craft, regardless of how much money it makes you. Maybe it's building a strong community of friends. Maybe it's simply having a healthy mind and a healthy body. True success is not an external destination. It is a state of internal alignment. It's when your daily actions are in harmony with your deepest values. It's living a life that feels authentic and meaningful to you, not one that looks good on Instagram. And the only way to get there is to give yourself the permission to define the terms, to sit down with a pen and paper and write it out. Success for me means, and then be brutally honest. Productivity as impact, not volume. Rest as a strategic tool, not a weakness. Success as internal alignment, not external validation. When you change these definitions, you change everything. You're no longer playing their game. You're not just changing the rules. You're creating a whole new board. You've rewritten the code for that internal alarm. But rewriting the code is only the first step. A new operating system is useless until you install it and start running new programs. We've defined the new terms of engagement for our own lives. We have our new dictionary. But a dictionary is just a book of words until you start speaking the language. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. Learn to speak the language of a life beyond the hustle, one small deliberate action at a time. So what is the first word we speak in this new language? It's not a grand declaration. It's not a mission statement. It's a word that's only 2 letters long, but it might be the most powerful and the most difficult word for us to reclaim. That word is no. In the language of hustle, no is a dirty word. It's seen as a sign of weakness, a lack of ambition, a closed door. We're taught to say yes. Yes to the extra project. Yes to the weekend work. Yes to the networking event we're too exhausted to attend. We say yes because we believe it's the only way to get ahead, to be seen as a team player, to prove our worth. Every yes feels like a deposit into the bank of future success. But we never stop to check the balance of our own well-being, and we find our accounts are severely overdrawn. Saying no in our new language isn't about negativity or shutting people out. It is the most profound act of positive boundary setting. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you are simultaneously saying a resounding yes to something that replenishes you. Saying no to working late is saying yes to dinner with your family. Saying no to a project that doesn't align with your goals is saying yes to focusing on the work that truly matters. Saying no to a social obligation that fills you with dread is saying yes to an evening of restorative peace. It's an act of curation. You are the curator of your own life, your time, your energy. A great museum curator doesn't just accept every piece of art that comes their way. They select only the pieces that fit the vision, that tell the story they want to tell. Your life is your gallery. No is your velvet rope. And I know the fear of letting someone down, the fear of missing an opportunity, the fear that saying no will make you irrelevant. So let's arm you with some phrases. You don't have to say, "No, I won't." You can say, "Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I don't have the capacity to give that the attention it deserves right now." Or, "That sounds like a great opportunity, but I'm focusing my energy on other priorities at the moment." Or even a simple, I'll have to pass this time, but please keep me in mind for the future. These are not rejections. They are statements of fact about your current capacity. They are honest, respectful, and they protect your most valuable asset, you. This leads us to the second phrase we need to learn in our new language: productive rest. The old language of hustle tells us that rest is the opposite of productivity. It's what you do when the real work is done. It's a reward you have to earn, and even then you should feel a little guilty about it. That is a fundamentally broken equation. In our new language, rest is not the opposite of work. It is an essential part of work. It's not the reward for great work. It's the foundation for great work. Think of an elite athlete. Do they train 24 hours a day? Of course not. Their recovery, their sleep, their nutrition, their time off is as meticulously planned and valued as their time in the gym. Why? Because they understand that growth doesn't happen during the stress, it happens during the recovery. Your brain, your creativity, your problem-solving skills work the exact same way. So what does productive rest look like? It's not just collapsing on the couch and doom-scrolling through your phone. That's not rest. That's just numbing. Productive rest is intentional. It's taking a 15-minute walk in the middle of the day with no podcast, no audiobook, just you and your thoughts. It's sitting with a cup of coffee and staring out the window for 10 minutes. It's a 20-minute nap. It's reading a novel for pleasure, not for self-improvement. These activities look like nothing to the hustle mindset, but in reality, they are the cognitive equivalent of a deep tissue massage for your brain. They allow your subconscious to connect ideas, to solve problems your conscious mind is stuck on, and to lower the cortisol levels that are keeping you in a state of chronic, low-grade panic. But how do we start integrating this when our to-do list is a mile long and screaming for our attention? This brings us to our third core concept: the minimum viable day. The term minimum viable product comes from the tech world. It's the most basic version of a new product that can be released to the market. It's not perfect, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it works. It achieves its core function. We are going to apply this to our day. The hustle culture to-do list is designed for failure. It's an endless scroll of tasks that ensures you end every day feeling like you didn't do enough. The minimum viable day is the antidote. It's a predefined, incredibly short list of 1 to 3 things that, if you complete them, you can consider the day a success. A win. No matter what else happens. No matter how many emails you didn't answer or tasks you didn't get to. Your MVD isn't your list of massive work projects. It's a list of foundational anchors for your well-being. My MVD, for example, might be 1. Move my body for 20 minutes. 2. Spend 10 minutes of undistracted time with my partner. 3. Write 1 single paragraph. That's it. If I do those 3 things, I've won the day. Everything else is a bonus. This isn't about lowering your standards. It's about raising your floor. It's a psychological safety net. On days when you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or burnt out, you don't have to stare at a list of 27 tasks and spiral into paralysis. You just look at your MVD. Can I walk around the block? Yes. Can I put my phone down and ask about their day? Yes. Can I write 1 paragraph? Yes. Suddenly, the day is not a loss. It's a success. You've maintained momentum. You've cared for yourself. And you've broken the all-or-nothing thinking that keeps so many of us trapped. So let's turn this from theory into practice. Here is your first assignment in learning this new language. I want you to open your calendar right now. Pick 1 day in the next week, and I want you to schedule a 30-minute appointment with yourself. Label it strategic white space or mindful pause or whatever you want. But in the description, write 1 word: nothing. Your job during that 30-minute block is to do nothing. Nothing productive. You can't use it to catch up on emails. You can't use it to plan your week. You can go for a walk, listen to music, sit in a park, sketch in a notebook, or just stare at the ceiling. The only rule is that it cannot have a predetermined goal or outcome. I guarantee you the first time you do this, it will feel deeply uncomfortable. Your brain, conditioned by years of hustle, will scream at you. It will tell you you're being lazy. It will feed you a list of all the important things you should be doing. It will feel foreign and weird and maybe even wasteful. Good. That feeling of resistance is proof that you are doing something right. It is the old programming fighting back against the new code you are trying to write. The discomfort is the sound of the cage bars rattling. Your only job is to sit with that discomfort for 30 minutes, to observe it and to gently remind yourself, this is productive rest. This is necessary. Because in that scheduled block of nothing, you are doing the most important work of all. You are reclaiming your time, your attention, and your right to simply be, without the constant pressure to do. You are speaking the first sentence in the language of a life truly lived. And in that language, the grammar isn't based on what you've accomplished, but on who you are becoming. The vocabulary isn't a list of tasks checked off, but a collection of moments fully experienced. This isn't about abandoning ambition. It's about redefining it. It's about understanding a profound and counterintuitive truth that modern American work culture has tried to beat out of us. The most direct path to brilliant, creative, and sustainable work is not through relentless, grinding hustle, but through the deliberate, strategic embrace of rest. This is the great productivity paradox. We've been sold a bill of goods. We've been told that to get more done, we need to do more. To be more creative, we need to consume more information. To be more successful, we need to fill every waking second with effort. But what if that's all wrong? What if the constant pursuit of productivity is the very thing making us less productive? Your brain is not a computer that runs faster the more you use it. It's more like a muscle, or even more accurately like a garden. It requires periods of intense activity, yes, but it equally requires periods of fallowness, of quiet, of letting the soil regenerate. Neuroscientists have a name for what happens during these periods of quiet aha moments. It's called the default mode network, or DMN. Think of it as your brain's screensaver. When you stop focusing on a specific goal-oriented task, like answering an email, or building a spreadsheet, or planning your next move, your brain doesn't just shut off. It switches to a different operating system. The DMN kicks in, and it begins a process that is absolutely essential for high-level thinking. It starts connecting the dots. It sifts through your memories, links disparate ideas, simulates future scenarios, and engages in the kind of associative thinking that is the bedrock of all true creativity and problem-solving. That brilliant idea you had in the shower? That was your default mode network. That sudden solution to a problem that's been bugging you for weeks, which popped into your head while you were driving in silence. Your DMN at work. Hustle culture is a declaration of war on the default mode network. By insisting that every moment be filled with a podcast, a task, a notification, or an objective, we are actively preventing our brains from doing their most important background work. We're like a gardener who keeps digging up the seeds every 5 minutes to see if they're growing, and then wonders why nothing ever blooms. We are sacrificing insight for the illusion of industry. Then there's the brutal reality of decision fatigue. Every single choice you make, from what to wear in the morning to which strategic direction to take on a multi-million-dollar project, draws from the same limited pool of mental energy. The hustle mindset forces us into a state of constant, low-grade decision-making. Which email to answer first? What to post on LinkedIn? Which of the 7 urgent tasks should I tackle now? By the time you get to the decisions that actually matter, your cognitive resources are depleted. You're running on fumes. There was a famous study of judges making parole decisions. They found that prisoners who appeared before the judges early in the day were granted parole about 65% of the time. Those who appeared late in the day? Less than 10%. The judges' knowledge of the law didn't change. The cases weren't drastically different. What changed was their mental energy. After a long day of making decisions, they were fatigued, and their brains defaulted to the easiest, safest choice. Just say no. Now think about your own life. How many of your most important decisions are you making late in the day, after your brain has been hammered by 1,000 tiny choices? The hustle doesn't make you a better decision maker. It makes you a tired one, and tired people don't make great choices. Let me tell you about a woman named Maya. Maya was the quintessential hustler, a senior marketing manager at a fast-growing tech startup in Austin. Her calendar was a work of art, a color-coded testament to efficiency, blocked out in 15-minute increments from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. She was the first one in, the last one out. She inhaled leadership books and optimized her sleep for maximum REM cycles. On paper, she was a rocket ship, but in reality, she was stalled out. Her team was facing a huge challenge, launching a new product into a crowded market. For weeks, they'd been brainstorming, but every idea felt derivative, a pale imitation of something their competitors were already doing. Maya pushed harder. She scheduled more meetings, demanded more ideation sessions, sent more 2 a.m. emails with the subject line, "Just an idea." The harder she pushed, the more the well of creativity seemed to dry up. The pressure was immense, and the team was burning out. They were mistaking activity for progress. One Friday, after a particularly brutal brainstorming session that produced nothing, her boss, a surprisingly zen founder in his 50s, called her into his office. She braced for the worst. Instead, he looked at her and said, "Maya, I'm locking you out of your email and Slack for the weekend. I want you to go to the hill country. Don't take your laptop. Don't think about this launch. Go for a hike. Read a novel. Do absolutely nothing related to work." "That's an order." Maya was horrified. It felt like a punishment, a vote of no confidence. Doing nothing was her personal hell. The first day was agony. She kept reaching for her phone, her mind racing with all the things she should be doing. But by Sunday morning, something shifted. She was sitting on a limestone bluff overlooking a river, not thinking about anything in particular, just watching the water flow. And then it happened. An idea, fully formed, landed in her mind with the clarity of a ringing bell. It wasn't about a better feature or a flashier ad campaign. It was a completely new story, a different way of talking about their product that connected it to a deep, unmet emotional need in their customers. It was elegant, it was powerful, and it was born not in the frantic energy of the boardroom, but in the quiet space she had finally allowed her mind to inhabit. She returned on Monday, not with a laundry list of tasks, but with a single compelling vision. Changed everything. The campaign was a massive success not because she worked harder, but because she finally understood how to work smarter. She had stopped trying to force the bloom and had simply tended to the soil. Maya's story isn't an anomaly. It's a perfect illustration of the science. Her weekend of nothing wasn't wasted time. It was the most productive work she had done all quarter. She had silenced the noise, allowing her default mode network to get to work, connecting the problem with a lifetime of unrelated experiences and observations to synthesize something truly new. She had refilled her tank of cognitive resources, escaping the decision fatigue that had led her to chase bad ideas. So how do we start tending to our own soil? It begins by reframing rest. It is not a reward for hard work. It is a vital part of the work itself. You need to schedule it with the same ruthless discipline you apply to your most important meetings. Start small. This isn't about booking a 2-week silent retreat tomorrow. It's about finding pockets of stillness in your day. Try this. The next time you have a 5-minute break, resist the urge to pull out your phone. Instead, just look out a window. Notice the clouds, the people walking by, the way the light hits the buildings. That's it. You are intentionally disengaging from a goal-oriented task and letting your mind wander. You are activating your DMN on purpose. When you take a walk, leave your headphones behind. Listen to the world around you. Allow your thoughts to drift without a destination. This isn't laziness. This is strategic mind wandering. This is cognitive maintenance. You can even put it in your calendar. 15 minutes. Stare at wall. It sounds absurd in a culture obsessed with optimization, but it is one of the most high-leverage things you can do for your creativity and mental clarity. You are making a conscious choice to prioritize deep thought over shallow tasks. You are breaking the addiction to constant stimulus. This is the first crucial step. Changing your internal relationship with time and productivity. You are learning to trust that in the silence, in the pause, in the moments of unstructured being, your mind is doing some of its most profound and valuable work. But what happens when the world outside of you hasn't gotten the memo? What do you do when your boss still celebrates the 80-hour work week? When your colleagues are still sending emails at midnight? When the entire economic system seems designed to reward the very hustle you're trying to escape? You've started to change your own mind, but how in the world do you begin to change the world around you? It's the fundamental question, isn't it? The one that keeps you up at night after you've finally decided to make a change. It feels like trying to hold back the tide with a bucket. You've decided to stop drowning, but the ocean of expectation is still right there, crashing against your door. The truth is, you don't change the world by trying to change the entire world. You change it by meticulously, stubbornly, and courageously changing your world. You start by building a fortress around your own well-being, and then you start strategically expanding the walls. This is not a revolution fought with picket signs and grand pronouncements. It's a quiet insurgency fought in email signatures, calendar invites, and conversations with your boss. The first battleground is always the workplace. It's the epicenter of the hustle earthquake. And your most powerful weapon is learning to set and enforce boundaries. Now, setting boundaries sounds like a soft, therapeutic phrase, but in a hustle-obsessed environment, it is a radical act of corporate defiance. Start small. It starts with your outbox. Instead of hitting send on that email at 9 p.m., you use the schedule send feature. Set it for 8:30 a.m. the next morning. You did the work, your idea is captured, but you are refusing to contribute to the culture of 24/7 availability. You are protecting your colleague's evening as much as your own. That single click is a vote for a different kind of workplace. Next, you have to master the art of the productive no. We're terrified of saying no because we equate it with being unhelpful or not a team player. So we reframe it. When a non-urgent request comes in at 4:45 p.m. on a Friday, your old script was, "Sure, I'll get right on it," followed by a weekend of resentment. Your new script sounds like this: "I'm happy to help with that. To give it the proper attention it deserves, I'll be making it my first priority on Monday morning. If it's more urgent than that, let me know, and we can figure out what other priority we need to shift." Look at what you just did. You didn't say no. You said, "Yes, and here are the professional boundaries within which I will accomplish this." You affirmed your competence, you reinforced your commitment to quality, and you placed the onus back on the requester to evaluate the true urgency. 9 times out of 10, Monday morning is perfectly fine. You've just reclaimed your Friday night without appearing difficult. This isn't about slacking off. It's about professionally managing workload and expectations. The biggest fear, of course, is the boss. How do you manage up without getting sideways? You have to learn to speak their language, the language of results. Most managers, even the ones caught in the hustle trap, don't actually want burned out, ineffective employees. They want productivity and good outcomes. So, you frame your new boundaries in those terms. Schedule a conversation with your manager, not when there's a problem, but when things are going well. You say something like, "I'm really focused on increasing my efficiency and ensuring the work I deliver is always top-notch. I've been tracking my own productivity, and I've realized that I do my most creative, error-free work when I've had a chance to fully disconnect and recharge in the evenings. So moving forward, I'm making it a strict policy to be offline after 6 p.m., so I can come in fresh and deliver my best for you and the team every single day." This is genius. You're not asking for permission. You are stating your strategy for peak performance. You've turned "I want to have a life" into a strategic business advantage. What manager is going to argue with, "I'm doing this to produce higher quality work for you"? You are making your well-being an asset to the company. And then comes the most powerful move of all, leading by example. Start leaving the office on time. Don't say a word. Just pack your bag at 5:30 p.m., say a cheerful "good night everyone," and walk out the door. The first few times it will feel like a spotlight is on your back. You'll feel the weight of your colleague's judgment, or at least what you perceive as their judgment. But then something amazing happens. The person in the cubicle next to you, who has also been dying to go home to their family, sees you do it. You've just given them silent permission. The next day they might leave at 5:45. The week after, someone else does. You don't create change by preaching. You create it by modeling a better way. You become the social proof that it's possible to be a dedicated employee and have a life. This quiet insurgency extends beyond the office. Think about your social life. How many times have you answered the question, "How are you?" with some version of, "Ugh, so busy it's insane." We wear busyness like a badge of honor. It's become a proxy for importance. The more overwhelmed you are, the more successful you must be. We have to stop this. It's a toxic conversational loop. The next time someone asks how you are, try a different answer. "I'm feeling really focused this week." Or, "I'm excited about a project I'm working on." Or even, "You know what? I've been making a real effort to build more downtime into my schedule, and it's been fantastic." You're not just answering a question. You are subtly changing the definition of a successful life for everyone in that conversation. You're making rest and balance aspirational. This applies to your friendships and family too. You have to protect your energy. That means saying no to social invitations when you're drained, without the guilt. We often give long, elaborate excuses for why we can't do something, because we feel like "I just need to rest" isn't a valid reason. It is the most valid reason. Stop over-explaining. A simple, "Thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm going to have to pass this time as I'm protecting my downtime, but I'd love to catch up next week," is honest, respectful, and powerful. It teaches the people around you that your well-being is a non-negotiable priority. And just like at work, it gives them permission to do the same. Each of these actions seems small on its own. A scheduled email, a rephrased sentence, leaving the office on time. But they are not small. They are tremors. They are tiny cracks in the foundation of hustle culture. When you set a boundary with your boss, you're not just reclaiming your evening. You're subtly reshaping your boss's expectations for the entire team. When you tell a friend you're prioritizing rest, you're not just canceling plans. You're planting a seed in their mind that rest is a valid, even admirable pursuit. You don't change the system by fighting the system head-on. You're just one person. Instead, you create a new, better system within your own sphere of influence. You build a microculture around yourself that is based on sustainable success, deep work, and genuine well-being. And that microculture becomes contagious. Your team sees it. Your friends feel it. Your family benefits from it. You think you're just saving yourself, but what you're really doing is creating a blueprint. You're building a lifeboat, and once people see that it not only floats but can actually get you to shore faster and safer, they'll start asking you how you built it. And when they ask, you won't give them a motivational quote. You won't tell them to just chill out. You'll give them the actual architectural plans. Because this isn't about wishful thinking. This is about engineering a new life. And that engineering rests on 4 foundational pillars. Get these right and the entire structure of your life changes. The first pillar is the most fundamental. You must completely redefine your relationship with productivity. For decades, we've been sold a lie. The lie is that productivity is a measure of volume. It's the number of hours clocked, the number of emails sent, the number of tasks crossed off a list. It's a game of sheer brute force activity. But this is a trap. It's the hamster wheel, endlessly spinning but going nowhere. True productivity, the kind that actually moves the needle, is not about volume. It's about impact. Think of it like this. A demolition worker can spend 8 hours hitting a concrete wall with a small hammer. They'll be exhausted, sweaty, and they will have been busy all day. Or they can spend 30 minutes strategically placing a few charges of dynamite, walk away, and bring the entire wall down in seconds. Who was more productive? The one who worked harder or the one who had more impact? Hustle culture celebrates the person with the hammer. It fetishizes the effort, the sweat, the grind while completely ignoring the result. The post-hustle mindset focuses entirely on the dynamite. It's about applying the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, to every single corner of your life. The principle states that for many outcomes, roughly 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes. 20% of your clients generate 80% of your revenue. 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your happiness. Your job is to become a ruthless detective, hunting for that critical 20%. Here's your first tool for building the lifeboat: the impact audit. Tonight or first thing tomorrow, I want you to take every single task on your to-do list and ask one question. If I could only do 3 things on this list to move towards my most important goal, what would they be? Be brutally honest. Not what's urgent. Not what someone else is yelling about. What actually matters. That's your dynamite. Everything else is the hammer. The goal isn't to work 12 hours on 20 tasks. It's to work a focused 4 hours on the 3 tasks that create a seismic shift. This isn't laziness. This is strategic lethality. Once you've identified your high-impact work, you need the second pillar, and this one will feel deeply uncomfortable at first: mastering strategic rest. We've been programmed to view rest as a weakness, as a luxury, as time stolen from the grind. This is perhaps the most damaging lie of hustle culture. Rest is not the opposite of work. It is a fundamental part of good work. A Formula One car is the pinnacle of speed and performance, but it's useless without the pit stop. The pit stop is where it refuels, gets new tires, and makes critical adjustments. Does anyone look at a pit stop and say, "What a lazy car, just sitting there"? Of course not. It's an integral part of winning the race. Your brain and body are no different. The no days off mentality is like trying to drive an entire Grand Prix on one set of tires and a single tank of gas. You won't win. You'll just end up as a wreck on the side of the track. The science is unequivocal on this. Neurologically, your brain solves complex problems and forms creative connections when it's in a state of rest, in what's called the default mode network. It's the aha moment you have in the shower. That's not a coincidence. It's your brain finally free from the constant barrage of focused tasks, connecting disparate ideas in the background. By skipping rest, you are literally robbing yourself of your best ideas. So here's your second tool: scheduled disconnection. I want you to go into your calendar and schedule blocks of time, labeled unavailable. Not lunch break. Not personal time. Unavailable. Treat these blocks with the same sanctity as a meeting with your most important client. Because it is. The client is your own sanity and performance. During this time, there are no work emails, no quick calls, no industry podcasts. You read a novel. You go for a walk without your phone. You sit and do absolutely nothing. First, this will feel like a withdrawal. You'll feel anxious like you're falling behind. But then, a week or two and something magical happens. You'll return to your work after these breaks not just refreshed, but sharper, more creative, and more focused than ever before. You'll start making better decisions faster. You're not working less. You're making the hours you do work count for more. This leads directly to the third pillar, the art of the sufficient win. Hustle culture operates on a principle of perpetual dissatisfaction. You hit a goal and the only reward is a bigger, more impossible goal. The finish line is a mirage that constantly recedes as you run toward it. It's a rigged game designed to keep you running forever, because your exhaustion is profitable for someone else. Breaking free means learning to define your own finish line. This is the concept of the sufficient win. It's about deciding in advance what done looks like. What constitutes a successful day? What is a victory for this week? Instead of an endless amorphous blob of work, you create discrete, winnable games. Maybe a sufficient win for today is writing 1,000 words of your book and landing one new client. Once you've done that, you've won. You have permission to stop. Not because you're lazy, but because you met the goal you set for yourself. The rest of the day isn't wasted time. It's your victory lap. It's the time you reinvest in your health, your relationships, your hobbies, the very things that fuel you to win again tomorrow. This isn't about lowering your standards. It's about trading the vague, soul-crushing pursuit of more for the concrete, satisfying achievement of enough. Your third tool is simple but powerful. Define the finish line. Before you start any project, any week, or even any day, take 2 minutes and write down one sentence. I will consider this a success when A, B, and C are complete. That's it. That's your contract with yourself. It protects you from the siren song of perfectionism and the endless scope creep that turns a one-day task into a week-long nightmare. It's how you take back control. And that brings us to the fourth and final pillar, the one that holds the whole structure together, cultivating an identity beyond the grind. Hustle culture is insidious because it doesn't just demand your time. It demands your soul. It convinces you that your net worth is your self-worth. Your job title is your identity. Your productivity is your reason for being. This is incredibly dangerous, because if your work is all you are, what happens when you lose a client? What happens when a project fails? What happens when you get laid off? If your identity is a skyscraper built on the single foundation of your career, the slightest tremor brings the whole thing crashing down. The antidote is to build a portfolio of self, to consciously and deliberately cultivate the other parts of who you are. The part of you that's a painter, a sibling, a hiker, a friend, a volunteer, a student of history, a terrible but enthusiastic karaoke singer. You need to invest in hobbies and relationships that have absolutely zero potential for monetization. This is the crucial part. The moment you think, oh, I could sell these handmade candles on Etsy, you've allowed the hustle mindset to creep back in and colonize your refuge. The goal is to have parts of your life that are sacred, that exist only for the joy and meaning they bring you, not for their utility or market value. This isn't just for fun. It's a survival mechanism. It diversifies your sense of self-worth. When one area of your life takes a hit, and it will, you have a dozen other pillars holding you up. Your failed project doesn't make you a failure because you are not just your project. You are also the person who ran a 10K last weekend, who just learned to cook a perfect risotto, who is a trusted confidant to your friends. Your final tool is the identity audit. Draw a circle. Now, divide it into slices that represent the different facets of your identity right now. How big is the work slice? For many of us, it's 80 or 90% of the pie. Your mission is to shrink that slice. Not by working less necessarily, but by actively growing the others. Schedule time to be the hiker. Put Call My Sister on your calendar. Book that pottery class. You build a resilient, fulfilling life not by having a bigger work slice, but by having a more balanced and colorful pie. Redefine productivity, master strategic rest, define the sufficient win, and build an identity beyond your job. These aren't just tips. This is the blueprint. This is how you stop patching the holes in a sinking ship and start building a vessel capable of taking you to an entirely new world. These are the tools to build your own lifeboat. But building one lifeboat is just the start. The real revolution begins when we start building a fleet. When we redesign the entire ocean liner we were told we had to stay on. And that's where this all leads. But what does it mean to redesign the ocean liner? It means we stop accepting the premise that the ship is sinking, and that our only option is to frantically bail water until we collapse. It means we question the very architecture of the vessel itself. Who designed it this way? Who benefits from us being too exhausted to look up and notice the lifeboats are reserved for the people on the top deck? Redesigning the ship is a collective act of imagination. It's looking at the engine room of our economy, the 5-day 40-hour work week, the glorification of constant availability, the equation of self-worth with productivity, and saying, this engine is burning us all out. We can build a better one. This is where the fleet comes in. A single lifeboat is vulnerable. It's a story of individual survival. Fleet is a community. It's a story of collective thriving. Hustle culture is the ultimate tool of isolation. It convinces you that the person in the cubicle next to you, the freelancer bidding on the same project, the other startup in your space, they are your competition. Your success depends on their failure. It's a zero-sum game played on a lonely, unforgiving sea. A fleet operates on a completely different principle. A fleet shares resources. It lashes boats together during a storm. One boat spots land and signals to the others. The strength isn't in any single vessel, but in the interconnectedness of all of them. In our world, building this fleet means actively rejecting the competition narrative. It means creating networks of mutual support. It means the senior designer mentoring the junior one, not to create a subordinate, but an ally. It means small businesses in a community partnering on events instead of trying to undercut each other. It means forming mastermind groups not to 10x our growth, but to hold each other accountable to our well-being, to ask, did you take a day off this week? Did you see your kids? Are you sleeping? It's about celebrating someone else's decision to scale back, to choose less stress over more profit, recognizing that their liberation is tied to our own. When one person successfully reclaims their time, it creates a blueprint for the rest of us, proves it's possible, and from that foundation of mutual support, we can begin the real work, redesigning the system. This isn't some abstract utopian fantasy. It's happening right now, in pockets of resistance that are growing every day. It's happening in companies that are implementing a 4-day work week and discovering that productivity doesn't drop. It actually increases, because their employees are rested, focused, and loyal. They're not just surviving the week, they're living their lives. It's happening in startups that are rejecting the venture capital model of blitz, scale or die, and are instead choosing to grow slowly, sustainably, and profitably, creating lasting value instead of a fleeting spectacle. It's happening when we, as consumers and workers, vote with our feet and our wallets. We champion the local coffee shop that closes at 3 p.m., so its staff can have a life, instead of the 24/7 chain that treats its employees like disposable cogs in a machine. We champion the brands that are transparent about their labor practices. We champion the bosses who model healthy boundaries by logging off at 5 p.m. and explicitly telling their team not to answer emails after hours. This redesign isn't a top-down revolution mandated by the government. It's a bottom-up cultural shift, driven by millions of individual choices that accumulate into a new standard. But I know what you're thinking. That sounds great, but I'm just one person. I can't change my company's culture. I can't change America. And you're right. You can't. Not alone. But the entire premise of hustle culture is to make you feel like you are alone. The most radical, subversive act you can take is to realize that you are not. The change doesn't start by storming the C-suite. It starts in a conversation with a coworker. It starts by asking, is it just me? Or is this pace unsustainable? And hearing them say, it's not just you. That is the spark. That is the moment an individual complaint becomes a shared diagnosis. The revolution begins with small, almost invisible acts of defiance. It's taking your full hour for lunch away from your desk. It's using all of your paid time off without apology. It's putting a hard stop to your workday and respecting it as sacred. It's turning off notifications on your phone. It's saying no to a project you don't have the bandwidth for, instead of sacrificing your sleep to be a hero. Each of these acts on its own seems insignificant, but they are not. Each one is a vote. It's a declaration of your values. It's a tiny crack in the foundation of the hustle mindset. And when millions of us start making these same cracks, the foundation breaks. The walls come down. What we are really talking about is the creation of a new American dream. The old one was a dream of accumulation. A bigger house, a faster car, a higher title. It was a dream measured in things. And it was powered by the fuel of relentless, self-sacrificing hustle. We were promised that if we just worked hard enough, we'd eventually arrive at a destination called success, where we could finally rest and enjoy the fruits of our labor. But as we've seen for so many, that destination is a mirage. The goalposts keep moving, And the only fruit we harvest is burnout. The new American dream isn't a destination. It's a way of life. It's a dream of integration, not accumulation. It's a dream measured not in dollars but in depth. It's the dream of having enough. Enough money to be secure, yes, but also enough time. Enough time to be present with our families. Enough time to pursue hobbies that bring us joy, not income. Enough time to simply be still, to think, to breathe. It's a dream of mental and physical vitality, where our health is our most valuable asset, not something to be traded for a promotion. It's a dream of deep community, of knowing our neighbors, of feeling like we belong to something larger than our own isolated ambition. This new dream doesn't reject ambition, it redefines it. Ambition is no longer just about climbing a corporate ladder. Ambition can be starting a community garden. Ambition can be mastering a new skill, just for the love of it. Ambition can be raising kind, emotionally intelligent children. Ambition can be creating a life where you have the freedom to take a walk in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon, just because the sun is out. We have spent this entire journey deconstructing the myth that has held us captive. We've seen its historical roots, its psychological traps, its devastating human cost. We've equipped ourselves with the tools to define our enough, to set boundaries, and to build that individual lifeboat. But now we stand at the most important part of the journey, the part where we look up from our own small boat and see a horizon full of others, just like us. The invitation now is not just to save yourself, but to join the fleet, to help redesign the ship. This is your call to action. Start that conversation. Share this idea with someone who needs to hear it. Celebrate rest as fiercely as you once celebrated the grind. Ask yourself and ask the people you work with a different set of questions. Instead of how can we be more productive, ask, how can we be more sustainable? Instead of what's the next milestone, ask, are we enjoying the journey? The ultimate goal isn't to escape work. It's to build a life where our work and our humanity are no longer at war with each other. A life where we are not just human doings but human beings. The question that will define our future is no longer, how much can you endure? It is, how well can you live? The choice is ours, and it starts now.